On this day, we give thanks for the life of Margaret Shaw, for all that she's contributed to the life of this borough, for her life, for her example, and at this time we pray for her family, friends, and colleagues. And on this day of the new council, we give thanks for those who have served this borough faithfully over many terms of offices and years. For those who decided not to stand for re-election, and for those who were defeated in the vote. And as we give thanks for their stewardship, their service, and their commitment, we pray for our world, our nation, and our borough. For all leaders who represent the common good. For the communities and wards we serve. And for all those who have anxieties and vulnerabilities at this time, whose voice never seems to be heard. And for those who never cast a vote. God of truth, by whose wisdom all good counsel and just judgment and all right decisions flow, pour out your spirit of wisdom on all who are gathered here today, as we give thanks for the mayoralty of Gordon and Carol Newton, and pray for the mayor-elect John Perry and his wife Jan. For the elected members and officers alike, we pray in their planning and decision that they will be given insight and understanding and courtesy, that their communications might grant them honesty, compassion, integrity, and transparency. And above all, we pray that your peace will rest upon all those in this borough who this day struggle, who this day work, and who this day know what their future may be. Give us strength in difficulty, chaos, and diversity, and help us in all our uncertainties to remain stable in you, your Son, our Saviour, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you. Before we commence proceedings, may I take this opportunity to advise you that if the fire alarm does sound, please remain seated, and members of the Democratic Services team will assess the situation and give further instructions on the evacuation of the building if necessary. These proceedings will be webcast and recorded by the Council, but will anyone else be recording or filming them?
Mr. Mayor, I won't be taking video, but I may take photographs.
Thank you very much, Alan. I simply ask to let people know if this will be happening. Thank you. I'm pleased to welcome the following new members to their first meeting of the Council. Councillor Sarah Barwick, Ronald Burke, Grace Couch, Kathy Cox, and Ann Dawes, Donna Greenan, Joe Hickson, Hilary Jenkins Baldock, Claire Keeley, Kimberly Millam, Mark Nagy, Kieran Oliver, Rachel Rodwell, Michael Summersgill, Alison Sweetman, and Simon Wales. Welcome also to Councillors Rob Field and Malcolm Mackay, who are returning after a break in service. Are there any apologies for absence? Councillor Cleater.
Councillor Barwick has been delayed. She hopes to arrive shortly.
Okay, thank you very much. At that point, I think I'll sit down. Are there any applications for dispensations?
There were no applications.
Thank you. Are there any disclosures of lobbying? None? Are there any disclosures by officers?
Mr. Mayor, I have an interest in item 23.
Are there any disclosures of lobbying? Right, I will make my announcements now. Thank you. I will stand. This is a short roundup. I'm going to turn the second page over. No, that's right, that's out of the way. This short roundup does not fully reflect what a memorable year I've had together with my wife Carol. My aim as mayor was to support and promote the many and varied projects in the Maidstone area, and to support the charitable events of other Kent mayors that invited us to attend their events. It has been a very enjoyable and a busy year. The mayoress, my wife Carol, and I have attended 245 engagements during the year, all which have been informative, interesting, and educational, and in some cases, great fun. We've learnt a lot during this past year, and we have many memories to remind us of this very special year. From pantomimes, my age is 76, I'd only ever been to one here, and to choral evenings, from hospital, helping young adults cope with the pressures of everyday life, to people who need care in later life. My wife has already inquired about a place for me. You can tell who wrote this. One memorable occasion was a birthday party of a wonderful 100-year-old lady. Whilst chatting, I said, and do you like to have a drink? She said, oh yes. I said, what is it? She said, I like sex on the beach. We've eaten cuisines from around the world, here in our own town, confirming what a diverse community we live in. We have met and become good friends with mayors from across Kent and from the Cinque Ports to boroughs in London. We wish the new mayor and his wife to have a wonderful year. One piece of advice I have learnt is always to have plenty of change and £5 notes available, as there is always a raffle at mayoral events to support their own worthwhile charities. It's better to be forewarned. This year wouldn't have been a positive experience for us without our officers, Julie, Ray and Russell. Carol and I are so grateful for their support, patience, and specifically Russell and Ray's punctual and safe driving to and from venues. Thank you very much. In the words of Hanna-Barbera, that's all, folks. Thank you. I think we're on item 8. No. Can I ask for nominations for the election of mayor? Councillor Russell.
Thank you. I'm so pleased to be able to propose John Perry as Mayor. He's a friend, a trusted colleague, a true gentleman, and a real asset to the council chamber. John is also a fantastic local champion for his residents in the Republic of Staplehurst. He's been a ward councillor since 2014 and a parish councillor since 2007, and he works really hard to make sure that his residents' views are heard and that all levels of local government work together to achieve results. So then, John as Mayor. I'm sure he would calmly tackle a variety of new experiences. He would revel in talking to people, meeting people, and really being a focal point for the borough. He's adaptable in any situation, as he's shown in his previous life, when as an accomplished carriage driver, he was walking the cross-country course, hearing a large amount of swearing coming from the other side of the hill. He managed to contain his laugh, slide a professional face on, as none other than the late Duke of Edinburgh came into view. So don't worry, if you choose John as Mayor, I'm sure he'll be able to talk to all, cope with anything, and I'm sure that today's Mayor's horse-drawn carriage is in safe hands if needs be. John is absolutely dedicated to the council and to council life. He's married with 3 grown-up sons and 4 grandchildren, and I know that his wife Jan is very much looking forward to becoming the Mayor's escort and having a wonderful year. She says that at least that way she'll actually get to see him. So to conclude, I have no hesitation in proposing that John Anthony Perry, a councillor of the borough, be duly elected Mayor of the Borough of Maidstone until the annual meeting of the council in 2025.
Thank you. Councillor English will second that motion.
The election of mayor is one of 2 events, along with funerals, where it is customary, indeed de rigueur, to say nice things about people. Sometimes those are said through gritted teeth. I have to say with great pleasure today that I have absolutely no reservations, and say with absolute sincerity that it is a pleasure to be seconding John Anthony Perry for the post of Mayor of this borough. John has done, in a lifetime of public service, practically everything you can think of, both within the borough and in his varied career, representing the interests of such wide-ranging people as the government of Albania. That might come in handy in the future. John and I have known each other for more years than I care to remember, and we first met through our mutual involvement with the parish council movement in Maidstone. John has been a champion, as it's said, of his local community, but John, when you're mayor, you're going to have to go outside Staplehurst. I hate to tell you that, but all joking aside, John has been associated with pretty much every job in the council. He's been leader, he's been a cabinet member, he's been leader of the opposition, he's been a backbencher, he's done everything, he knows where all the bodies are, and he knows how to chair a meeting and keep people in order. I have confidence that you will represent, along with your wife, this borough in a really admirable way. And if we get out of line, I'm sure your ability to control horses with a delicate little flick will ensure that you are able to keep order amongst this sometimes disorderly group of people. John, I hope you and Jan have a perfect mayoral year, and if there's anything I and my group, I'm sure, can do to support you, we'll be there to do that. Thank you very much. I take pleasure in seconding the motion.
Thank you. And Councillor Jeffrey, please.
Thank you. Well, lots has already been said. John is a perfect gentleman. I think I used that phrase last time I spoke about John, and it's absolutely true. He's easy to talk to, always happy to advise, and frankly a thoroughly nice guy. John's going to make an excellent mayor, and we are happy to support his nomination.
Thank you, Councillor Jeffrey. And Councillor Harper.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As leader of the new Independent and Fountain Oakwood group, I'm happy to support John to be our new mayor from today. I've known John and worked with him since 2014 when we were both elected to the council as new boys in those days, as a lot of people are today. And John was always really enthusiastic and helpful. As has been said, he's held many positions on the council as deputy leader, committee chairs, cabinet members, and therefore he'll know how to keep us all in order in this chamber and to make sure we keep to our time limits. John's been an excellent ambassador to Staplehurst, as has been mentioned, and I can still remember one occasion going to Staplehurst when I was chair of the council's Heritage, Culture and Leisure Committee to meet John to discuss sports provision in Staplehurst as part of a new approach to sport. And he took me around, and you could just see his pride for Staplehurst just brimming over as we went around the ward, and as he was telling me what new facilities he needed and how Staplehurst should have the best Maidstone can afford, which is quite correct. He's an incredibly hard worker and brings all his energy and enthusiasm to everything he does. I've really enjoyed working with him over the years, and I know that he will be an excellent mayor for Maidstone. And I know that through his energy, pride and promotion he's shown in Staplehurst will, for the next year, have to be applied to the whole of Maidstone, and that he will be a really excellent ambassador for us. Therefore, I have absolutely no hesitation on behalf of my group to support John to be our mayor from today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, Councillor Cleater, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think I'm quite glad I'm the last one to speak because everyone has pointed out John's really good points. But what I would like to say is for new councillors on this council, what we can learn from John is about his public service, his integrity, his passion, we know for Staplehurst because we've all witnessed that, but also for the whole borough. John is all what's good about politics. He's fair, he's even-handed, he is very supportive no matter what political persuasion you are, and obviously John and I differ politically, but I have always found him one of the most supportive councillors that there has been for new members. His knowledge, his passion for Maidstone makes him the ideal person to be Mayor of Maidstone. And on behalf of my group, I would like to say that we wholeheartedly support John and wish him and his wife, who's going to have to keep him under control, as I'm sure all Mayor's partners do, wish him well for the coming year. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Cleater. Are there any other nominations? No, nobody's putting their hands up, so thank you very much. If not, the motion will be agreed. Is it agreed? You were a bit quick there, I hadn't turned the page over.
Shall I go?
I, John Anthony Perry, having been elected to the office of Mayor of the Borough of Maidstone, declare that I take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability.
Mr. Mayor, I'd just like to offer all our congratulations on your election to Mayor of Maidstone, and I hope that you and your wife have a truly brilliant year. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Just bear with me just a second as I get my papers together. Right. Now it's my great pleasure to present the Mayoress with her badge of office. My lovely wife Jan, if she would like to come forward. Yeah, come with me. Yeah, okay. The eyes. They're terrible. Yes, they will forgive me. Well, first of all, I would like to thank you for electing me, and also for the very kind words that all of you said. I really do appreciate it, and I will look further than the Republic of Staplehurst. I do promise you all of that. I just wanted to say a few additional things because obviously this is the first council meeting of the new council. I think it was Prime Minister Harold Wilson said that a week was a long time in politics. And this has been a very interesting 3 weeks, I think, since the second of May election. And things change, and we live in a democracy, and that's part of democracy that we're all proud to serve. So I'm a great supporter of the democratic society that this country is proud of. But we do have, obviously, have lost a lot of councillors who did have a lot of experience. And I just wanted to name just a few. I hope you will bear with me just for a moment. First of all, Gordon Newton, who I'm taking his seat as his chair, as the mayor. And Gordon worked his socks off this year. I know that because I saw some of the timetable of the things he was doing. And he was working right up to Friday, so that takes some doing. And I know Gordon has also been a very strong supporter, like I have in Staplehurst, and we all have, I think, of our residents. And I know Gordon, I've sat on the planning committee for many years, and I know Gordon has come forward and promoted his residents on what have been a number of very difficult planning applications. So well done, Gordon, and you can hold your head up very high, I think, in the service that you've done to this community and to this council. So I really wanted to say that. The other thing is, I'm sitting in this chair today, but of course, we had a deputy mayor last year, Martin Cox, and Martin was a very able deputy, and of course, the throw of the dice can change, you know, that's the democracy we live in, and he doesn't find himself in this seat today, and I've obviously taken over from him. But I'd just like to thank Martin as well for the work that he done in supporting Gordon as he was as the deputy mayor. So I hope you can all join me in that. And there've been one or two other members. I just want very long-serving councillors that I just want to quote their names. Cynthia Robertson, because Cynthia was a mayoress and a long-serving councillor. Denise Joy, Gay Mayor of Maidstone, long-serving councillor, and Annabel Blackmore, who was a leader of this council as well. So we have lost some people with a lot of experience, but we have, and we welcome the new councillors. This is a very historic room you sit in. It's one I personally love sitting in, actually. Maybe I'm a bit idiotic, but I do love this old room. It's been around for over 250 years. There's been a lot of debate, a lot of discussion in this room, but I think we always carry out our discussions with respect to one another. We disagree, of course we do. We represent different factions, but at the end of the day, we do it with great respect to each other's views, and I think that is incredibly important. And I wanted just to raise also the thanks I have personally to our officers, to Alice and her whole team, who really work for us. They advise us fearlessly, but always implement loyally. They are the great dictums of our public service in this country, and I think we should always respect our officers. And one just small point, I think having sat here for many, many years, there's more that unites us than divides us. I always felt that. These aren't my words, actually. They're the words of the late Jo Cox, and she sadly and cruelly lost her life. But small time, but in that small, most greatly lived. And I'll end on that particular note. So thank you for indulging me ever so slightly. Thank you. Right, now we get on to the agenda. Now I'm going to sit down at this point. I call on Isaac Mariner from Maidstone Grammar School. This is agenda item 9.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Isaac Mariner, and I'm the school captain at Maidstone Grammar School for this year. Firstly, I would like to offer my congratulations to Councillor John Perry as the representative for Maidstone Grammar School and personally as an individual. Politics aside, it's great to see someone as dedicated to their community as you are in yours, joining your local Staplehurst Parish Council in 2007, the year I was born. Sorry if that makes you feel old.
That's all right, you're forgiven.
The commitment required to remain involved in our community for a prolonged period is no mean feat, and it is a testament to not only a good politician, but a good person. I'm looking forward to continuing the school's strong ties to the council and what the year ahead will hold, which in many ways begins today. So I'd like to use this opportunity to read a section of Virgil's epic poem, The Aeneid, which feels fitting given Councillor Perry's degree in history and classics. It begins, Lacrimas dialectae pella caresse, non ego myrmidonum sedes dolucrimae, superbus aspiciam aut graeasuritum, matribus ibo, Dardanice diurae veneris nurus, sed me magna, deum genetrix, is detene oris, umque vale et nati serura, communis amorum, aec ubi dicta dedit, lacrimantum multa, velentum, dicere, deseruta burisque, recessit in auras. Thank you for the opportunity and all the best for the upcoming year. Congratulations once again.
may I say, that gave me great pleasure, I have to say, from a personal perspective. I love Virgil's poetry, and to hear it in its original language is absolutely fabulous, particularly in his historic room. So thank you ever so much for doing that, and thank you very much for the kind words. They're very, very much appreciated. I would add that Virgil's words, for those of you who are not versed with the Latin, what he was actually saying was that Aeneas goes back into Troy to rescue his wife. He can't find her because she's been killed. He sees her spirit, and her spirit guides him in the future of his life and implores him to go forward and found a new kingdom, which she does with her son. And she also adds that she would never be a slave to the Greeks who have conquered her land. The Romans got their revenge, actually, because when Sulla took over Athens in 60 BC, the Romans always considered themselves descendants of the Trojans. So the Trojans did get their revenge in the end. But thank you ever so much for those wonderful words of Virgil, and thank you for saying them so beautifully. Thank you. And I'll call on Maya Fernandez from... Oh, sorry, I jumped a call. Sorry, I apologise. It's my bad sight. I call on Izzy Ratcliffe from Maidstone Grammar School for Girls. Thank you.
There we go. Good morning, I'm Isabella Ratcliffe, and as a head student of Maidstone Grammar School for Girls, it's my privilege to congratulate you on your new position as Mayor of Maidstone, the county town of Kent. On behalf of the school, we wish to express our gratitude for your unwavering commitment, having served diligently on the council for 17 years. Your continued dedication to the community is shown in your multiple positions as an active member of Staplehurst Parish Council and current position as Vice Chairman. This exemplifies your commitment to the welfare and betterment of the town. Your dedication to connectivity and unity resonates highly with us at Maidstone Girls. In addition to this, your extensive experience in consultancy, advising both UK and foreign governments, speaks volumes about your expertise and competence that will undoubtedly carry into this post. Your role as an active member and trustee of All Saints Church reflects your personal and professional commitment to serving the community and striving to make it a better place for all. I believe that this resonates with our school motto, non sibi sed omnibus, meaning not for oneself, but for all. At Maidstone Girls Grammar, we hold strong values of supporting others and actively encourage volunteering within our student body. I'm confident that our students would be honoured to learn about your plans for the community and how they can contribute within your time in office. We're tremendously excited about the prospect of working with you in the future and extend our warmest wishes for a successful year in office. Thank you.
Thank you ever so much. They're lovely words, and it's very kind, and I appreciate what you said. So thank you ever so much. Right. Could I call on Maya Fernandez from the Archbishop Courtenay Church of England Primary School, and also Natalia Kostrova, I think. I apologise if I mispronounced your name, from Archbishop Courtenay Church of England. Could you both come up?
We are delighted to be here today as representatives of Archbishop Courtenay Primary School. Congratulations to Maidstone on its new mayor, John Perry.
We know your experience of serving Maidstone for several years, along with the various positions you have held, including leader of Conservative Group and cabinet member of Community and Leisure Services, will support you in the year ahead. We will look forward to seeing all the great works you will do to support our county town.
We want to thank you for your continued support of the charity Du Melzar House, who have helped many of the families in our local community.
On behalf of all my school friends, their parents and the staff at Archbishop Courtney Primary School, we wish you lots of luck and the best wishes for your mayoral year and hope you will visit our school very soon. And thank you for your commitment to Maidstone.
To the front, please. Thank you. Yes, I will do. Certainly will do. Well done, both of you. That was lovely. Well done. It takes a lot to come before a big council like this. You both did very, very well. I'll try and come to your school. Natalia and Maya, which is Natalia. There we go. Maya. Thank you very much. Thank you again. That's lovely words. Thank you. Fantastic answer. Very well done. Very well done. Thank you all very, very much. Right, we go on to Faye now, don't we? Could I'd like to call on Councillor Mrs. Gooch to move a motion thanking our previous Mayor, Gordon Newton.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and congratulations on having become Mayor. Well, Gordon, I can't see you. Where are you? Are they hiding you? Thank you very much. Gordon, bless you. You've worked really hard. What an active year you've had as Mayor. And I think it's been a fitting close to your term as being a councillor, actually. You've worked so hard, you've given it your best shot, and so ably supported by your dear wife, Carol. I've loved that dress when you wore it first. I love it today. Please let me have it when you finish with it. No doubt you've had many treasured moments and treasured memories. I can readily recall, and I wonder if you remember, you were very kind during the opening of the Headcorn Community Centre and Cultural Hub. I know what you did. That lovely, yeah, that's our secret. But I remember that, and I'm sure that there were lots of little things that you did when you visited all those places. You made your mark one way or another, and I thank you for that. Well done, and you will remember them. But Gordon, you leave this chamber not only as Mayor, but as a long-standing, hard-working councillor, dedicated to your ward, not just litter picking and taking pride in your area, but notably, and this is what I remember about you, how fiercely you fought to protect your patch from development. That, I think, is your mark. Gordon, remember that after the recent elections, there are other long-standing, hard-working councillors who are also not returning to this chamber. Just to mention Deputy Mayor Martin Cox, past leader of the council, Annabel Blackmore, just leader of the council, and Denise Joy, past mayor. I respectfully suggest that they also deserve this council's recognition and thanks, as well as your good self. So, members, I move that the hearty thanks of this council be given to Mr. Gordon Newton and Mrs. Carol Newton for the admirable discharge of their duties as Mayor and Mayoress during this past year, and for their courteous and most kindly approach to all sections of our community. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Gooch. Very well said. Does the council approve the motion? Aren't we? Why not? Sorry? Well, this is in front of the other bit, so that's why I've done it that way around. Yeah. Now I'd like to call on Mr. Newton to reply. What, sorry? Oh my goodness. So this is the excitement of the occasion. I do apologise. Councillor Mackay, can I ask you, the well-known Crystal Palace supporter, can you please second the motion? I do apologise, everybody. My side's playing up there.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I perfectly understand the confusion. We are both Crystal Palace supporters, and the recent form of our team has really shocked us both, but I'll try to continue. Yeah. I moved to Maidstone, Downswood, in 1988. I moved from the Socialist Republic of Crawley, which was then a nuclear-free zone, to find out that Downswood was not a nuclear-free zone, far from it. But it had a proud history of returning independent councillors to Maidstone Council. My first councillor was, and very few people will know him, Fred Winklis, who was an interesting character, I understand. In 2011, Gordon stood as an independent and was elected as an independent member of Downswood and Otham. But Gordon wasn't just a borough councillor. He had for a long time been a parish councillor, a parish chairman. And it's been alluded to that, yes, he was highly visible in Downswood, not just because he walked his dog and litter picked regularly and spoke to anyone, but he was active. Gordon was born in Maidstone, he had a business in Maidstone, he was embedded in Maidstone. Gordon and his wife Carol have thoroughly enjoyed their year as mayor and have left a positive message. Thank you, Gordon. Thank you, Carol. Much appreciated.
So, yeah, I got it. I'll get it right this time. Can I call on Councillor Springett?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On behalf of the Conservative Group, I'm delighted to support this motion of thanks to Mr. and Mrs. Newton for their service to the borough. Gordon, I know you found it an awful lot busier than you had expected, but I know that you actually have really enjoyed your time as mayor. You visited numerous events in my ward of Bearsted, and your warm personality just shone through. I do trust that both you and Carol can now stand back and take a very well-earned rest, but I know that our paths will cross again in the future, and I think that might even be next Wednesday. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Springett. Councillor Nalgi?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and congratulations on being elected the Mayor today. On behalf of the Lib Dems, it's my personal honour to be able to thank Gordon and Carol for this year's magnificent event of being the Mayor and Mayoress. They've been a credit to the position, because being Mayor, you are #1 citizen, and it comes about as a great honour. I've seen them at many events, but particularly Maidstone River Festival, where Gordon stayed nearly all day and was really welcomed by people to see the Mayor of Maidstone in Maidstone with the people he's represented. That was fantastic, and thank you very much for doing that on the day. I've known Gordon for many, many years, probably the most in this room, because obviously we used to live in Boxley Road, And as I said before, our fathers used to go drinking in the Dog and Gum, which is now a house of multiple occupancy, as most pubs are. Which is a bit sad, really, because there were some good memories in that, in most pubs, and Dog and Gun especially. Yeah, it's just, I just don't know what to say, really. We're not going on for too long. I've seen that the Gordon it's been a great benefit to the mayorship. That it's something to be credited, and I wish them all the best and good health in the future, whatever they do. I will miss him at meetings with that common sense approach to everything which he brought to it, all the meetings. And it's very sad that he won't be seeing him at meetings in the future. But this is what this is. It's a happy day in one way, but a sad in another. I've got the sad bit to say goodbye, and look forward to seeing you anyway, whatever you do in the near future. And if you need me, just call me. Thank you very much.
Does the council approve the motion? Agreed. I'm sure that was going to be okay. I would like now to call on Mr. Newton to reply.
Well, thank you very much for your kind words. It's been an absolute honour to represent Maidstone at various places, including London and around the southeast of England in some places. And I'm speaking on behalf of the mayors as well here, because we come as a double team, and that's been.
Thank you, Gordon. That's very nicely said. I now invite the retiring mayor and mayoress to come forward to receive medallions and gifts celebrating their year of office. Carol, these are for you. Thank you for all the hard work you've done. I know you've supported Gordon. You've had a fabulous year. Much appreciated it. I've got a hard act to follow. I do know that. So. Carol, these are for you as well. So a double whammy, I'm afraid. You're okay then? You've got it. Okay. That was quite heavy, actually. Members, just bear with me a minute. I forgot to sign the book for declaration of office. So technically, I haven't been a mayor for the last half an hour. Not minuted, by the way. No, that's all right. No, that's fine. Okay, we go down to now. I suppose I would call normal business, but so we're back to the agenda, which is agenda item 10. And is it agreed that items in the agenda be taken in public? Are we all agreed on that? Okay, good. Okay. Agenda item 11. I will move that the minutes of the meeting of the Borough Council held on 21st of February 2024 be approved as a correct accord. Is that agreed? Records, should I say so? Okay. Agenda item 12. I move that the minutes of the extraordinary meeting of the Borough Council held on the 29th of February 2024 be approved as a correct record. Is that agreed? Okay. Agenda item 13. I move that the minutes of the extraordinary meeting of the Borough Council held on the 20th of March 2024 be approved as a correct record. Is that agreed? Agreed. Okay. We turn to agenda item 14. This concerns the appointment of Deputy Mayor. In accordance with the agreed protocol on Mayor and Deputy Mayor pre-selection, the most senior member of the Council, as set out in the order of seniority by length of service of members, who has not previously held the office of Mayor, who wishes to take up the office and who has served for a minimum period of 6 years, should be appointed to the position of Deputy Mayor. That person is Councillor Martin Round. Now I do look to a proposer for Martin, Councillor Round. Councillor Zinsky.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and congratulations. Well, it gives me great pleasure to nominate and propose my ward co-councillor Martin Round as Deputy Mayor. I'm not sure how it happened, but 3 years ago I was persuaded to stand as a candidate for the role of councillor, having never been involved in nor really taken any interest in local or national politics. I was duly elected, and since then Martin Round has been my mentor, friend, and someone I could turn to for advice at any time. And boy, did I need it. I was totally unaware and unprepared for the amount of time and effort and work that goes into the role of a councillor, particularly dealing with local casework. On day one, he told me not to trust anyone in politics, including himself. And following the recent vote on the local plan, in plain English, time has proved him right. However, I am pleased to say that Martin himself is one of the most trustworthy people I've ever met. He's never let me down, either in actions nor words, despite having a number of personal challenges in the last few years. His knowledge of the borough and its challenges is immense, from water issues to power supplies, from farming challenges to road problems. You name it, and Martin has been involved in sorting out residents' problems at one time or another, and his experience is invaluable. If he does not know who to talk to, he knows someone who does. Martin's a lovely, larger-than-life character, something we do not experience so much these days. A really genuine person, always with a smile on his face. And I'm sure he won't mind me saying this, it sometimes can be difficult to get a word in edgeways. but great and sincere company. He's a rugby man through and through, supporting Saracens as a season ticket holder. We've had a few trips to see them together, and his enthusiasm for his rugby team is the same as his enthusiasm for the team here at MBC, be it officers or councillors. Martin represents the borough at the Headcorn Battle of Britain Air Show each year, hosting senior diplomats and armed services officers from the Canadian, American and Polish embassies. He is very knowledgeable and can speak to them about the aircraft and history of the aerodrome, as well as the exploits of their airmen during the war years, and how working together we defeated one of the world's worst evils of our time. From the air show, we have forged a friendship with the chairman and the wife of the Polish Airmen's Association and are privileged to be invited to their Easter and Christmas lunches in the West End. It was after one of these that we found ourselves in Covent Garden at around 8 p.m. in the evening, warm and sunny evening, and I then discovered that Martin also enjoys a glass of red wine, a good red wine. I say a glass, but it was more like a bucket. And somehow we made our way back to Headcorn just in time for a last glass in our lovely micro bar, The Tap. A very enjoyable day indeed, in great company. But he moves as easily in the company of diplomats as he does in the company of all his residents. From the well-off in big farmhouses to the homeless people who appear from time to time in Headcorn, and the not-so-well-off residents who he is happy to help at the drop of a hat. He's involved in the social life of the ward, attending lunches with the older residents and supporting various clubs and activities, including the Heart of Headcorn. Martin really cares about Headcorn and the surrounding villages, attending most of the parish council meetings and taking an active part in discussions. But, unlike many, he will not promise what he can't deliver. In fact, he cares about the whole of the borough. And whilst wanting to embrace change when change is necessary, he also wants to maintain the history and traditions of the British way of life. He's well known for his country gentleman style suits and waistcoats, and in many ways could have stepped out of a Dickens novel. Good old-fashioned values, tempered with the knowledge that change and modernisation is inevitable, but must be practical, affordable, and take place in sympathy with our rural environment. Martin's heart is part of the borough of Maidstone. He feels for the residents, and in particular his ward residents in Headcorn, Ulcombe, Bourton Malherbe, East Sutton, and now additionally Sutton Valence. During his time as councillor, he's been falsely arrested but took no action against the perpetrators of the act, abused by certain elements of the public, and had plenty of disappointments when trying to get things done. But his resilience and real concern for the borough has made him shrug off his setbacks and continue representing his residents. He is Maidstone, man and boy, and what he does not know about the borough and Kent itself is not worth knowing. With this knowledge of his character, I'm honoured to propose him as Deputy Mayor and have the utmost confidence that he will make a great success of the role and fulfil what I would consider to be his destiny to ultimately become the Mayor of Maidstone. So I move that Councillor Martin Round be duly appointed Deputy Mayor for the Borough of Maidstone until the annual meeting of the Council in 2025. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Swinsky. I believe, Councillor Nagy, you are going to second.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's my honour to be speaking again, of course, to second this motion from Councillor Martin Round. I first met Martin when he became a councillor, and we've done so many things together since. He's become a great friend. He is a hard-working councillor of Headcorn, is well known and liked by local people you only have to walk around the village with him to see that. And as an example of this type of person we're talking about, last Christmas Day, cooked Christmas dinner for the people at the local community centre, which is just a sign of how he loves his community. And he can cook as well, which I can't. Obviously, he is a big Simple Minds fan, loves Simple Minds, and obviously a Saracens fan has been mentioned. But he did make one mistake this year. He had the option of going to Saracens or Maidstone United and Ipswich. And he tried to make both games, but he couldn't. Of course, as we know, that Maidstone United Ipswich game turned out to be part of history, which I was part of, and a great day for Maidstone. He'll have to think about that one if it comes up again in the future. I also help him do the Battle of Britain event at Headcorn, because he was obviously, when he first started it, he was trying to do everything. And as you know, if you do too much of everything, it turns out it doesn't help at all. So I helped him, offered my services, and I've been doing it as long as he wants me to attend, and help him I will. Because if you go to Headcorn, you'll see that he's made it a fantastic event, because it's not about glorifying war, it's about remembering the people that took part. And with the VIPs he manages to get down there, like people from embassies, it really does put Maidstone Borough on the map, in my view. And it's a great day. And the people that come, it's great to have a Headcorn part of the Maidstone Borough, in my view, like Leeds Castle, the most beautiful castle in the world, which rolls off my tongue. So it's just a great honour to be asked here to actually second the nomination. Most things have been covered, but I just think it's a very special day to be part of history making, as in being a deputy mayor and going to be the mayor, all being well. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Nagy. Councillor Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It is a great honour and very humbling to be asked to speak today on Martin's behalf. My congratulations in advance. It is indeed a small world, and not just in Headcorn or indeed in Staplehurst. I'm not given to jealousy, as a rule, but you have told me that you served for a long time under the honourable leadership of the Secretary-General, Penny Kemp herself. As I say, I'm jealous that you have enjoyed a history with her and I have not. I would be honoured if you would introduce me to her family, which you tell me that you see on a regular basis. That would be a great blessing to me. It is indeed a small world, but not so small anymore. And Martin has contributed to it in service. The first time that we exchanged messages with each other was when I asked for his assistance because of residents asking about the care of Moat Park, and a salutary lesson emerged from that conversation that we had on the importance of gratitude. If there is anything that our young guests here can learn from today's occasion, it is the enduring gift of gratitude, and it is wonderful to see that we have this institution in the town that gives us the opportunity to show gratitude and continue worthy service. Mr. Mayor, you are absolutely right. You do have a great deal of riches resting on your shoulders today, and you also are wearing some robes and a chain. The mayoralty itself is part of the technology, if I may, that helps us to negotiate our way into the future, to combine tradition with the need, the urge, and our cautions about progress. I have to say I'm delighted that we will have such a strong team between the two of you, without any casting any dispersions on those that have gone before you. It is a delight to see such a strong team of experienced councillors in the seat of the Mayor and Deputy over the next year, and we look forward to your service. It has been said as a commonplace in this meeting on this occasion that we're above politics. I think we are throwing away babies with bathwater if we do that. It is necessary that we see things from different perspectives. I take Ziggy's comments earlier. You made some pointed and pertinent remarks, which I heard with appreciation. I'm reading our friend, perhaps your friend, Roger Scruton, on green philosophy and how it is that we think seriously about the planet. We all have much to contribute about the great challenges that face us. Martin, you were very keen in our first meeting in, I believe, the Robing Room next door a year ago to tell me how very sincere and energetic and earnest you are about green issues, a point that I've not forgotten, and I look forward to your contributions and those of your colleagues over the next year. In short, being Mayor and Deputy Mayor is not flowers in a vase while the important business goes on. You are going to be an important part of the warp and weft of what we do in this council, and I hope indeed that you will both be part of bringing it up to date. It's my great delight to second the motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Thompson. Councillor Wilkinson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and congratulations and very best of luck to you as well in your role. I'm delighted to support the nomination of Martin Round as our Deputy Mayor. I've spent a lot of time in Martin's ward, especially the various hostelries that Ziggy alluded to earlier. And I know he's held in high regard, including by people who wouldn't necessarily share his political persuasion, and believe it or not, such people do exist in Headcorn and Oldcombe. I think if you've got people who might not be your natural supporters acknowledging the good you do in your community, then you're doing all right. Martin, I knew about the youth club and various sports and social clubs you ran at the Methodist Church. And I remember at the time not envying the job you must have had coaching a junior boxing club in Headcorn. I'm sure your extensive experience as a rugby player and coach could have been handy there too. A story I dug up about Martin that I quite liked was when he'd taken a group of parents and children to see a concert at Moat Park before the 2012 Olympics. This must have been to do with the passing of the Olympic torch. And I'm told a great time was had by all, but Martin was visibly starstruck by Alvin Stardust. So if there's ever some kind of local stars in their eyes type event, be on the lookout for Martin dressed in 70s glam rock gear. Martin, I'm not in any position to be giving you advice on your role as Deputy Mayor, but your former ward colleague Richard Thick did a bit of mayoring, as you will next year. The most sensible thing I ever saw him do was during an official visit to the White Horse on a Friday evening before a function, where he point blank refused to let any of us have a wear of the mayoral chain that John's got round his neck. I think he just said he was frightened that we'd melt it down and turn it into gold teeth. Martin's also been a poster boy, having appeared on billboards and backs of buses promoting a Labour-led campaign for further and higher education for all ages. He's also, and this might have been a state secret up till now, contributed to a number of speeches on economic development from Tony Blair, Neil Kinnock, and various ministers. I've always felt you're itching to cross the floor at any minute, Martin. Either way, I'm honoured to be able to speak in your favour as Deputy Mayor, and on behalf of the Labour Group, we wish you the very best of luck.
Thank you, Councillor Wilkinson. That was brilliant. Councillor Mrs. Gooch.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. You're going to have to get used to that, aren't you, Mr. Mayor? Mr. Mayor this, Mr. Mayor that. You'll get used to it. Oh, Martin, there are so many things that you've been involved in, and don't worry, I'm not going to spend the next 10 minutes extolling all your virtues. But you can now add Deputy Mayor to your list. I would just briefly say that as I'm president of the Headcorn branch of the Royal Air Forces Association, it would be remiss of me not to acknowledge one particular role that you have, and it's the role that Councillor Ziggy has referred to, and that is as the well-built controller of the annual Battle of Britain show. I have to say well-built controller because you can't say fat controller, so I've got to choose my words there. And what a fantastic annual event that is. You really get hold of that and order everybody about. You are in your element then. But in that vein, I do hope that you will remember to attend RAFA's Battle of Britain Memorial Service on September the 8th at the Memorial Garden at Parkhouse Farm, Charts Sutton. You've honoured us with your presence in the past. Please do so before. I had to get that dig in. But Martin, you will take up your new role as Deputy Mayor very seriously indeed. I can just see you there lauding it very seriously. Don't forget the smattering of humour. I'm sure you'll get a few gills in there somewhere. So Martin, on behalf of the Independent and Fanton Oakwood Independent Group, we wish you well, and Mr Mayor, we support the motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Gooch. Are there any other nominations? Okay. Is the motion agreed? Thank you very much, members. The Deputy Mayor will now be robed and take his seat. The Deputy Mayor will also make his declaration of acceptance of office.
I, Martin Round, having been appointed to the office of Deputy Mayor of the Borough of Maidstone, declare that I take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability.
I do call upon the apologies. I do call upon the Deputy Mayor who may wish to thank the Council for his appointment. I'm sorry the process has suddenly failed. Right.
Ladies and gentlemen and members, thank you so much. It is an utter privilege to be taking this chair. It's something I will treasure. Thanking you very much for those members that spoke in my favour. And thank you all for being here. Remember, this is not just Maidstone. This is the county town of the county of Kent. The Garden of England, something we should all be proud of, not just the Mayor and I, but all of us. This is a moment for pure pride. Thank you.
Thank you, Martin. That's beautifully said, if I may say so. Thank you. Right, I think we can move on to agenda item 15, which is back to me to make any announcements. I just want to say a few things, because obviously I've only just been made mayor, but it's quite full on, and I'm starting next week with the first which I'm attending the jobs fair here at the town hall, and then we move on to various equipment things, including meeting the High Sheriff, the D-Day celebrations on the 6th, not celebrations, commemoration on the 6th of June. And that's particularly, for me, very, very important, because my father was on Omaha Beach on the 6th of June, 1944. And so it's a very special day for me and my family. And there are many other things going on in June and July. So it's a fairly full-on process, and I won't go on everything that's on the list, but I certainly will be reporting back to you. But it's a very exciting time, and I know my wife Jan is looking forward to it as well. So I will certainly, hopefully, represent Maidstone the best that I can, and represent all of you in this council chamber, which I think is very, very important. I just wanted to announce my charities for this year, and two of them are very personal to me. I really have to say that. The first one is Diabetes UK, because as most of you, well, established councillors know and officers know that I'm a type 1 diabetic and have been for many years. It's interesting that insulin was first isolated just over 100 years ago at Toronto General Hospital, and there's been research ever since, but we still don't have a cure for diabetes, certainly type 1 diabetes that I have. And it is very important that research continues, and there's a lot of research going on in the UK and in other countries as well to eventually find a cure. I could say that the control is a lot better even in the last 10 years. I carry a sensor on my arm here, and I can record all my blood sugar levels, which go straight into the computer at Maidstone Hospital. So it's, you know, a lot of progress has been made, but more is needed, particularly for children as well who get it. The other charity is called the Torch Trust. One of the issues that comes out of being a type 1 diabetic, and you probably noticed it this morning, is sometimes my sight isn't quite as good as it should be. And being, if you are visually impaired, it is an issue. The Torch Trust does provide help. I'm lucky because I've got my lovely wife Jan, who makes sure it keeps me on the straight and narrow, and my colleagues in my Conservative group, who I can't thank enough for the help that they continually give me. I couldn't do this job without the support of all of you on our group who pick me up, cart me around, and I really do appreciate that, because I mean, I couldn't do the job as a councillor without their help. So I'd just like to thank you publicly for all the help you've given me and continue to give me. So the Torch Trust helps people who aren't so lucky as me, who are perhaps living on their own, who are perhaps disabled, and they provide help and support. And so I think that's a very important thing for people who do have a sight issue. The third charity is the Demelsa House, which is a local, fairly local charity in Kent and Sussex, that helps children and their parents who are either disabled or have got long-term illnesses that need personal support, and they provide respite and help for that. So they are my three charities that I wanted to announce to you today. So thank you for that. Right. I have nothing more to particularly add to agenda item 15. So I'm going to move straight on to agenda item 16, which is clearly a very important agenda. So, and this is about the election of the leader of the council. So do I have any nominations for election of the leader of the council? So apologies, Councillor English, I just didn't see. Councillor English.
It is with pleasure that I submit the name in nomination for Leader of the Council of Councillor Stuart Jeffrey.
Is there a seconder for that, please? Oh, Councillor Sands.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to call for a recorded vote.
A recorded vote. Yeah. Councillor Sands, are you seconding?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Wow, what an absolute pleasure to be able to second Stuart Jeffrey. Perhaps a surprise for some, but not for me. I've known Stuart for over 20 years, and he's one of the most hard-working, dedicated people I've known. I don't know any other councillor that would walk 27 miles in a day while leafleting on eve of poll. So much hard work and so richly deserved. I know that Stuart wants to work alongside all councillors and is open to ideas from all sides. Years ago, we worked with Stuart in Harwich and Lenham on the 20s Plenty trial around the schools. Lenham Primary and Secondary were chosen as one of the trial sites and still continue to have that 20 miles an hour. Green initiatives seen as so radical have now become mainstream, initiatives that Stuart has worked tirelessly to achieve. Stuart is an honest, open man who wishes to do the best for residents of this borough. I'm proud to call him my friend and honoured to second Stuart Jeffrey as leader of Maidstone Borough Council.
Thank you, Councillor Sands. Are there any other nominations? Okay. Yep. So we can go to it. It's a recorded vote. Yes.
As a point of order, do we need a vote if there's only one candidate?
I think it's been requested.
So there is a motion before council that has been proposed and seconded.
So yes.
And so, yes, it is in order for a vote to take place and, as requested, for that to be a recorded vote. So I'll be asking each of you in turn whether you are voting for or against or abstaining concerning the motion put forward that Councillor Jeffrey should be leader of the council. So if I may start that, please. Firstly, Councillor Barwick.
For.
Councillor Burke.
Against.
Councillor Cannon.
Against.
Councillor Clark.
For.
Councillor Cleater. Councillor Coates.
Abstain.
Councillor Conyard. Councillor Cook.
Against.
Councillor Couch.
For.
Councillor Cox.
For.
Councillor Dawes.
For.
Councillor English.
For.
Councillor Field.
For.
Councillor Forecast.
Against.
Councillor Fort.
Against.
Councillor Gooch.
Against.
Councillor Greenham.
For.
Councillor Harper.
For.
Councillor Harwood.
For.
Councillor Higson.
For.
Councillor Jeffrey.
For.
Councillor Jenkins Baldock.
For.
Councillor Jones.
For.
Councillor Keeley.
For.
Councillor Cadker.
For.
Councillor Mackay.
For.
Councillor Millam.
For.
Councillor Nagy. David.
For.
Sorry, I'm going to have to get used to this. Councillor Mark Nagy.
For.
Councillor Oliver.
For.
Councillor Parfitt-Reed.
Against.
Councillor Perry.
Against.
Councillor Reardon.
Against.
Councillor Rodwell.
For.
Councillor Round.
Against.
Councillor Russell.
Against.
Councillor Janetta Sams.
For.
Councillor Tom Sams. Councillor Spooner.
Against.
Councillor Springett.
Against.
Okay, I think we've got that, thank you. Councillor Summerskill.
For.
Thank you. Councillor Sweetman.
For.
Councillor M. Thompson.
For.
Councillor Stephen Thompson.
For.
Councillor Chabinsky.
Against.
Councillor Wales.
For.
Councillor Wilby.
For.
Councillor Dan Wilkinson.
For.
And Councillor Joe Wilkinson.
For.
Thank you, members. So members, if I may just summarise the outcome. So, thank you. There were 34 votes in favour, 14 against and 1 abstention, and so the motion is carried.
Thank you. I now call on the Leader of the Council. It's my first call on as you as Leader to present an oral report on the appointment to the Cabinet and the delegation of executive functions.
Thank you, Mr Mayor, and congratulations on your appointments, and Councillor Round on your appointment too. Before I go into the Cabinet positions, I want to just thank the public for making this partnership possible. We will do our utmost to serve you. I want to particularly thank the Lib Dems for productive and collegiate discussions that ensure we've got a good working relationship and a great team to work with. It would have been lovely to have Labour colleagues with us, but sadly not this time round. Let me also thank the outgoing administration for your work over the past few years. We are going to do things differently, and we are going to do different things. We are going to have a clear focus on sustainability and making lives better for people. However, I won't be announcing the Council's new programme at this Council meeting. We still have some I's to cross and T's to dot. I will put forward the detailed programme at the next Council meeting, which I believe is within the 60 days allowed. And in line with my predecessor's approach, I will ensure that items go to PAC meetings for finessing. I do need to announce the new Cabinet, though. We have agreed a broad mix of skills and interests that support our draft programme. So, the delegation of executive functions will be as set out in the documents circulated, and the delegation of executive functions to officers will be as set out in Part B of the Constitution. My appointments to portfolios are as follows. Councillor Clive English will be Deputy Leader and Cabinet Member for Environmental Services and Enforcement. Clive, Bingate is yours.
Thank you.
Councillor Tony Harwood will be Cabinet Member for Planning, Policy and Management. Tony, we urgently need a new plan, and can you sort out our position on Oakham Wood, please? Councillor Dave Nagy will be the new Cabinet Member for Community Cohesion and Safety. Dave will get people talking and working together. Councillor Simon Wales will be the new Cabinet Member for Housing and Homelessness. Simon, we need many more homes for social rent, please. Councillor Cathy Cox will be the new Cabinet Member for Corporate Resources. Cathy, you need to keep this show on the road. And Councillor Stephen Thompson will be the new Cabinet Member for Healthier, Stronger Communities. Stephen, you have the Economic Regeneration Brief, so bring on the donut. People can look up donut economics if you'd like to. Fascinating stuff. And finally, and probably most importantly, Councillor Vanessa Jones will be the new Cabinet Member for Climate Transition and Nature Recovery. Vanessa, climate change is not only the biggest existential threat we face, so no pressure. The proper officer will implement the changes into the Constitution and give effect to the consequential amendments to the policy advisory committees arising from those portfolios. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Jeffrey. As I understand it, we'll pass on agenda item 18 as you are going to come back. In effect, we're deferring it, I suppose. Okay, agenda item 19, allocation of seats on committees. I call on the Director of Strategy, Insight and Governance to submit the report to the Council, making reference to amended Appendix 1, which has been circulated separately.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I commend the report and amended Appendix 1 as circulated to Council.
Is that?
I think that people may want to make some changes.
Do they? Okay. Okay, sorry, Councillor Cleater, did you ask the floor?
Apologies, Mr. Mayor. I need to make some changes, small changes. Right. Yeah.
All right, so we'll take that on the next item. Okay. Does anybody else want the floor? Not on this one. Okay. So can we agree? Agreed. Thank you. Okay. Excuse me, just looking at my brief here. All right, so agenda item 20, which is appointments of committees. Again, Councillor Cleater, did you want to speak on this one? Okay. Okay, right. Sorry, Councillor Jeffrey, just to move the motion.
I move per the papers that the wishes of the group leaders regarding appointments be set out as circulated.
Is there a seconder to that? Clive, Councillor English?
I second that motion, but give notice that I need to make one consequential change due to the change's impact. Can I make that change now? And that is to exchange the names of Councillor Wilby, who is currently on climate transition, corporate, etc., onto housing and community cohesion, and move Councillor Higson to replace Councillor Wilby on the first stated committee. Other than that, I'm happy.
Is the motion agree with that change? Because obviously that's what we would be agreeing. Are we okay with that? Are we agreed? Oh, crumbs. Can we go back? I'm sorry about this. I've got confused myself a bit now. Councillor Cleater, sorry. I do apologise.
That's all right, Mr. Mayor. And apologies, these changes, slight changes for us as a result of the change in the packs. So for the Labour group, Councillor Joanna Wilkinson will sit with Councillor Mackay on overview and scrutiny. Councillor Jenkins Baldock will replace Councillor Barwick on climate transition, corporate, etc., etc., etc. And planning and healthier, stronger communities, Councillor Barwick will replace Councillor Joanna Wilkinson. And apologies for any confusion that has caused. Thank you.
Right, start again. can we agree the motion with all those changes? Councillor Cleater and Councillor English. Agreed?
Agreed.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you ever so much. Right, agenda item 21, isn't it? Agenda item 21, scheme of delegation of non-executive functions. Do I have a proposal vote? Leader? Councillor Jeffrey, sorry, I should address you properly.
I move that the scheme of delegation of non-executive functions be adopted.
Do we have a seconder? Yeah. Okay, is that agreed? Agreed. Excellent. Right. Agenda item 22, the appointment of Vice Chairman of the Joint Transportation Board for the municipal year 24-25. The agreement for the operation of the board states that the position of Chairman of the Board will be filled alternatively by the County Councillor and by a Borough Councillor. This also applies to the position of Vice Chairman for the municipal year of 2024-25. The County Council will appoint the Chairman and the Borough Council the Vice Chairman. So now that the Borough, so are there any nominations for the Vice Chair of the Joint Transportation Board? Yes, Councillor Jeffrey.
I nominate Councillor Tony Harwood for the position of Vice Chair of JTB.
Do we have a seconder? Councillor? Okay. Is that agreed? Great. Thank you. That's nice and easy. Moving on to the last one, I think. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Just bear with me for a moment. He's gone? Okay. Right. Okay. Right. Agenda item 23, appointment of monitoring officer. And I call upon the Chief Executive to introduce the report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I commend the report of the Head of Mid-Kent Legal Services to Council. Thank you.
Councillor Jeffrey, do you wish to?
Yeah, I'd like to move that Robin Harris be appointed to undertake statutory duties and responsibilities as the Council's monitoring officer, as noted in the Constitution, Part B5, paragraph 19, with effect from today.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Okay, Councillor English. Is that agreed by members? Agreed. Lovely. Right. Well, so at the meeting, at the conclusion of the meeting, would all members taking part in the civic parade please proceed to the reception area for robing. I now declare the meeting closed. And thank you all members. Thank you. It's all right, yeah. I'll leave it.